Robbie here. Don't forget to join us for the Weekend Roundup live on Monday the 3rd of June at Tocker Social at the O2. And you can come along and try and cook us. But you ain't gonna wanna cook me, because I'm gonna be cooking Abby, Matisse, Flex, that AGT and his stats are getting it as well. You do not wanna miss this. Come along, you can join the fun, you can play football with us, watch the England game, which is also gonna be taking place on the night, and it's gonna be massive. So get your tickets right now by clicking the link in the description. The tickets are selling fast, so don't waste no time. Join us for the Weekend Roundup live, Monday the 3rd of June at Tocker Social. Don't forget to check that out, the Tocker Social, Monday the 3rd of June. I'm going to be there as well. It's going to be absolutely brilliant, so make sure you check it out. We'll also be watching the England game after that. Hi, and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judge. There's still no Julian. Julian's he's still over there in Vegas.
No, he's gone to Morocco now. Yeah,
he's kind of living it up, isn't it?
Yeah, he is.
And to me, I ain't been nowhere, stuck here.
Well,
you're off to the Dubai Grand Meridian and all that.
Yeah, I'm off there next week. Julian's back though. I think he comes back. You know, I hate him at times. I really do. Like he's back on, comes back on Thursday, and he's off to the cricket, and he's got hospitality in the cricket.
And he don't even like cricket.
No, he don't even like
this
cricket.
Guy, man. Anyway, guys, Father's Day is coming up, and today's episode is brought to you today by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming. Our friends at Manscaped have crafted the total package for Father's Day, whether it's for the boys downstairs, his beard, or even the best pair of underwear out there. Manscaped has his bases covered. If he carries a lot of body hair, like most dads do, God, where's this going? You're in luck with the Performance Package 5-Point Ultra. This bad boy is designed with fathers in mind, featuring the signature Lawnmower 5.0. This Father's Day is also the perfect time for your old man to stop stealing his wife's nail clippers and finally have a kit of his own that will last him a lifetime. Go to manscaped.com/invincible for 20% off your order and free shipping. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code INVINCIBLE. That's the code INVINCIBLE. Use that by visiting manscaped.com/invincible. Do it for the boys. By the way, what's that? Do it for the boys.
Bang out of order. You wait,
boy, yeah,
I'll
tell you what.
see them downstairs for that, like, you know.
If my boys look like that,
but I'll tell you what, he's quality, isn't it? He's a quality bit of tool.
It is. It is.
Quality
gear. It's
got a little light on it and all that, so you can see what you're doing.
What are you doing in the dark? Then?
Well, I don't really know why you would do it in the dark. It's sort of taking a risk there, but you go in the shower and all that with it as well, like, you know.
Yeah. It's, oh, good. It's very, very
well,
good. Listen, as I said, 20% off it. It would be a great Father's Day present. So get involved in that just by watching the show today. 20% off. Can't go wrong. Do it for the boys.
It's outrageous.
Oh, dear. Listen, welcome along. No Arsenal game, of course, because the season's finished. Do you watch the FA Cup?
Do you know what? I did a little bit. I was flicking from Celtic and Rangers and Man City.
Serious?
Yeah, and the cricket was on as well. Like, I'm going to be really honest. I didn't want any of them to win. You know what I mean? Like, so in the Manchester Man United. But if I had a preference, I'm going to put it out there. I can't believe I was saying it. I did want Man United to win it.
I wanted United to win until
and then
the game finished.
Yeah, and then
all the United fans started coming out.
Starts coming out again, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, so and then I thought, well, you know, obviously if Man City would have won, we'd have gone to the Community Shield. I'm not really fussed whether we went to that or not, because like last season, the Emirates Cup, I think the Emirates Cup's really, really good for the family and things like that. So that would be at the weekend now instead of being like chucked in the midweek like it was last time. So I wasn't, you know, and there is this thing about Manchester City. I'm sorry, I know I keep going about it. Until they are sorted, I have got no real time for them on anything like that.
I saw this City fan the other day, man, and he was having a go at you. He was saying to me, he goes, "You're salty." You know what I mean? Why don't you just, you know, when that comes round, you dealt with then, you're just jealous. You jealous?
A little bit. I am a little bit of it. Of course you are, because, you know, you're going toe to toe. I think they are an incredible side. I have to say that, like, you know, but I cannot get behind them and give them what until everything is proven, because, you know, they've been, you know, like I see on the telly, like, no, not on the telly, but on videos and all that, what Man United was singing about them. I agree with them. I agree with them. We know what you are until you prove it, and prove it.
Yeah, it is a thing that's hanging over them.
Yeah,
and I don't know, you know, you're right, until it's sorted out. And I keep thinking to myself, if that thing goes wrong for them, what do we think of them going forward in the future? How do we? I don't think any Arsenal fans are necessarily saying, "Well, Roy, we want the title for the last 2 years" and stuff like that. But in the back of your mind, you're just gonna be like, it could totally go the other way for them, where they're just viewed as cheats.
Yeah.
So I think they need to get this thing sorted out quickly and favourably.
Exactly that, because I was coming in today, listening on the radio, that Everton are more than likely going to start next season with a points deduction. Leicester are going to start the season,
because they
with a points deduction.
Yeah, they fell foul of it as well.
So and Manchester City, like, you know what I mean, carry on doing what they're doing.
I even read today as well that Chelsea, who by the way they've just appointed, or they're about to appoint, that Enzo guy's the guy who was at Leicester as their manager, that Chelsea may possibly not play in the Conference League, because if they play in it, the rules around financial fair play are a bit stricter than the Premier League rules, and they might fall foul of it. So rather than do that, they just refuse to play in it, pull out of it, which I found that was crazy as well, you know what I mean? And it just goes to show, you know what I mean, are all the teams playing on a level playing field sometimes when you see it? And that's why, for me, you know, like a lot of people like say, oh no, it's wrong to deduct these points. It's right. Because if you set a set of rules and you say, right, all teams, you need to stick to this, do not go beyond this spending or whatever, and teams just willy-nilly just spend, there has to be consequences.
And that's what I'm saying. And the consequences are, another team, Nottingham Forest, are going to have to sell some of their best players.
Newcastle as well.
Newcastle, before the season starts. And there you've got this team, or this club, well, that's all right, because you're denying everything, just sailing through it all the time, like, you know, until...
Well, it will come eventually. Eventually, that day is going to come.
After another title and another Champions League, and then Pep Biel ain't going to sign a contract, is he? You know, he ain't stupid. You know, and it'll all cut. And then, you know, it's just making it all a little bit of a farce, you know what I mean?
It's a bit murky. Until it's all sorted out, it's a bit murky.
Yeah, and listen, I think that we know what it's like to play against them. We've gone toe to toe with them this season. We've broken records, you know, and we still couldn't beat them. So you think, wow, but you can't. I'm sorry, I can't give them what they deserve and everything like that until it's all sorted. And then when it does get sorted, hopefully all these titles and that will be just stripped of them. Stripped. I don't want them. I don't want Arsenal to get 2 league titles to their name and all that. Like.
Well, if they got stripped of them, we would get them.
Well, do you?
I listen. If you strip someone of a title, you can't just leave it those years void. It would have to be the team that came runners up that would get it. I guess. I wouldn't want it like that.
Nah, it's not the same, is it?
But then, I wouldn't want it like that. But then we deserve to get it because they've been stripped for breaking the rules. So I don't know. I just can't see them getting stripped. I don't know what they're going to do with this, but all I know is it needs to be sorted out quickly, because they're playing at the moment with a cloud over their head, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, which is, I'm sure that's not nice for their fans.
Yeah, and I don't know how other people feel about it. I've got, you know, Arsenal and Man United have got a lot of rivalry between each other over the years. They equalled our FA Cup success on the weekend, but I weren't bothered about. I'd rather see Manchester United win it because I think that they're clean. I know it sounds silly, like, you know what I mean. I'd rather Man United win it than Man City win it, because as much as it messed us up as far as the Community Shield's concerned, it's messed us up because of the 14. I think they've equalled us now. But I actually wanted Man United to win it. Now I don't know how the Chelseas of this world feel, and Newcastle, of course, because of that result, didn't get Europe. Like, you know, there's all just things going. You know, it spirals down. And, you know...
Yeah. What do you make of the United fans? I was doing DR Sports on the day, doing the watch for that.
I'll see that.
And they're all coming afterwards. Yeah, we've had a better season than you. Yeah, blah. Which to me, my response to that was that no, you've had a more successful season as regards cups, but you now have a better season. Don't disguise it. You've had a horrendous season, which you saved by winning an FA Cup. Now, I don't know. Like even I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans saying, "Oh yeah, but we didn't win a trophy." Blah blah blah. But I listen. We didn't win a trophy. I want to win a trophy. I desperately listen. We went to every single game last season. We're desperate to win that league trophy, right? But I can also remember times when we've won the FA Cup and me interviewing fans and fans saying to me, "Oh yeah, all right, it's great we've won the FA Cup, but I want to be challenging for the league," and we're miles off it. So I mean,
listen, all the fans at this moment in time that are saying about that, we're all wanting Arsene Wenger out because he was not challenging for the title and winning the FA Cup. They was all going, but he's still got to be sacked. He's still got to be sacked because he's not challenging for the title. We don't look like a championship winning side. We do that. We do now. All I'll say to that is, good luck to Man United. They won the title. We'd love to be there, and it's great. 14 league defeats. So they've gone 14 times around wherever they've been and been beaten, been stuffed a few times at home, going away, going at home to every game. Every time they
third of your games.
Yeah, every time they go through the turnstiles, those fans, not sure if they was going to win, lose or draw, right? Champions League, didn't leave bottom of the Champions League.
Bottom of their group.
Bottom of their group. And when you play in the FA Cup, you need a little bit of luck. They had a little bit of luck when it hit the bar and things like that, but you're playing Newport along that road, Coventry in a semi-final. And
they nearly lost that.
Yeah, could have lost that, So you need a little bit of luck. And listen, I'm not taking anything away from winning the trophy. It's fantastic and all that, If Man United would have finished in the Champions League last season and won the FA Cup, you'd go, wow, it was a great season. I know they did that by winning the Carabao Cup. But for me, I wouldn't swap that season over, our season over, for Man United.
No, nor would I. Now, as I said,
that sounds like you ain't got a trophy at the end of it, but that's how I feel.
People look on it and say, "Oh, well, you lot are a bunch of Someone accused me the other day, said, "Well, you're a loser because you wouldn't swap a trophy." I was like, "No, listen, you have to. Everything has to be put into context of things, man. You know what I mean? Listen, when we've won FA Cups before, and I've been absolutely delighted. I understand the United fans feel because you've salvaged the season." You've gone a long time without winning a trophy, so it's so big when you win it. But then there's other times you win it, you're like, it's fantastic, and you for a couple of days you're feeling high, and then after that you start to look back at the season and say, we were awful, man. And then you start to think about the season coming up, and you're thinking, Arsenal can look ahead to the next season. They challenge all the way in the league. I was listen, of course we wanted to win. We wanted to win the league. But we challenged all the way in the league. It's looking good going into next season that we can challenge again, right? We've got a great chance of going all the way again, going all the way next season, right? We're in the Champions League. Nobody's talking about top four and all that. So next season we start in the Champions League. Manchester United don't, by the way. They're in the Europa League, right? We're starting in the Champions League, the new format as well. It all bodes well for us, you know what I mean? Funny enough, there was somebody also who came on that stream and they was pointing out the fact that, and I know this doesn't really, fans, this is not what fans look for. We look for trophies, but he was pointing out, and this is what owners are probably looking for, that winning the FA Cup you get £2 million for. Getting into the Champions League, 170 million or something like that. Yeah. But what it does enable you to do is buy better players, attract better players, because, you can't go to a player and say FA Cup. They want to play in the Champions League.
Oh, I get that.
Right? So I was pleased. Like you called it well there. You said it well. I'm pleased with my season. I'm pleased with the manager as well. I see teams at the moment trying to copy what Arsenal have done as far as appointing a manager. Chelsea trying to get, Enzo Maresca, probably going to be in, probably by the time I finish doing this video, he's probably the new manager. He was assistant to Pep. He's an up-and-coming manager, young. They've even openly said it, that, he's worked for Arsenal. You know, so they're looking at it, right? You know what I mean? Manchester United rumoured, you know, they were rumoured to be going after the Ipswich manager, right? Kieran McKenna, young, bit, you know what I mean? We're pointing it out, a bit like Arteta. That, you know what I mean? So we've got the blueprint right now. We do need to add trophies to it, but 100%. We're heading in the right direction.
100%. And it is... Listen, at the end of it, like, you know, you look at Man United at the moment, like, yeah, if they've had a better season and their fans believe that, right,
they don't.
We'll back the manager in because you know
yeah, keep him.
You want him to stay, keep him. But it seems to me that they're looking to get rid of him. Why? Because they've lost 14 games on last season. 14 games. We've been there, Robbie. Listen, coming out of Wembley, winning, particularly beating your local rivals like they've done, it's massive. Don't get me wrong, like we done it against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Once, obviously in lockdown, but the one before. So I'm going to go back to the one before when Aaron Ramsey got the goal. I remember that day celebrating it right well into the night, coming out of Wembley Way and all that.
And what you definitely should.
Brilliant and brilliant. But then 3 or 4 days later, I think, oh, we're in the Europa League next season, like, you know, and starting thinking like, oh, Tottenham are in the Champions League. Oh, I want to be in the Champions League. Want to be this, want to be that. So I get everything that is around it all, but we're at this moment in time in a better position than most teams, and you know. Yeah, long way. What Mikel Arteta has got to do now, I think, in this summer, is build a squad that's capable of competing in every competition. So if you can say, right, I'm leaving Declan Rice out, I'm leaving Havertz out, I'm leaving out Saliba today, I'm bringing in 3 players, and we've still got enough to get through into the FA Cup and in the League Cup and everything like that. That is for me now. Edu and Arteta's job to do is to strengthen that squad so it's now built, ready to go in every competition. Because I am going to say that I want those trips at Wembley again. I want them as well as the Champions League and pushing for the title. But we need to win a few trophies along the way now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's really interesting what you say about building a squad, because we were sort of discussing this the other day as well. And listen, we've got a good squad at the moment. Some players are going to leave, some players are going to come in. But it's going to be, I think, and I agree with you, building a team that can challenge on all fronts in all competitions is how you get to go far in some of these competitions. You don't have to sacrifice as much. But I think it's going to be tough this season as well. You know, when I'm thinking about it, right, you got the Euros on, you got Copa America on, right? So we always know what that does to certain players. That players come back, they're a bit knackered, they're not quite the same, haven't really had a proper pre-season, you know what I mean? So we've seen that before in the past, right? So that might affect it. You know, then it's a new format in the Champions League. And we all know it's all right at the end of the season, everybody jumping up and down for the FA Cup, or when the final of the Carabao Cup comes round, everybody's like, oh, I wish we was in that and win it. But along the way, we all know that lots of things get sacrificed because their main eyes is on that Champions League and the league. And if it's a bigger format now in the Champions League, that means you're going to really need a good squad because you're playing more games. Yeah. So you're going to have players coming back, you know, and this is the same.
Is it 4 more games?
Is it?
I think it's 4 more games.
2 to 4 more games, definitely. But you're going to have players coming back from the European competitions. As I said, it's not just Euros, Copa America as well. So, and it's not just Arsenal. This is all the teams in the Champions League. They'll be coming back knackered, right? Not really like, you know, primed like they'd normally be. And, as I said, you know what I mean, bigger format now. So, you're right. We need to buy we need some good squad players. We need we need a good squad of like players that are like ready to go in and start week in, week out. And I'm sure they're going to have to take that into consideration when they're spending money this summer. It's going to be a challenging window for a lot of teams, including us.
Very much so. And as you say, like, you know, those first few, we probably expect England to go deep into that competition. You'd expect Brazil to go deep into that competition. So these guys are coming back, what is it, the 14th of July, I think it is, when the last game was saying, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, well, you
That's
know,
the final, 14th of July.
14th of July. Well, the 24th of July is their first pre-season game, so I don't think they'll be out there for that.
But if you get all the way to the final, you're going to need at least 2 weeks holiday after that. At least. Because you've just done a whole tournament.
So you're looking at that. They ain't going to get back till beginning of August.
Yeah.
So August.
Potentially, let's just say England went all the way to the final. That'd be Declan Rice, Saka. Right?
Yeah.
Who would definitely, you know.
Starters, aren't they?
Yeah, they're starters. If Italy, aren't they?
Italy or Germany.
Italy or Germany, Havertz, Jorginho, Brazil. You know what I mean? We've got a couple of players there, Martinelli
and Gabriel.
And Gabriel. So, you know, it is something that we you know.
Yeah, it's something good. And when you think about it, there's going to be a lot of, I think when we go on that pre-season tour, there's going to be a lot of internationals missing. There's going to be a few there, like the likes of Odegaard, Jesus are going to be there, and certain players. But
Ben White will definitely be there.
Ben White will definitely be there. But you're going to, like, you know, you even think of some of the backup players, like, you know, Shinchenko's. I don't know. I think they
qualified Ukraine.
So
yeah.
he's going to be going. Kivier's going to be going.
Kivior,
so
with Poland.
He'll be there with Poland. So when you think about it, like, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of players going. Raya and Ramsdale for a start.
There. Raya and Ramsdale going. So Raya's been selected for Spain.
So they're not going to be. So, you know, like, you know, any goalkeepers out there, get your gloves ready. So there's a lot of players, you know. There's going to be no Saliba. There's going to be...
Saliba will be gone.
So then you go into the midfield.
And France is another team that could go very deep into that tournament.
And even though he might not be playing, he's still going to be training every day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Listen, if you're playing, that's one thing. But you're, like you said, even if you don't start every week, you're training every day of that thing, and it's an intense time. Yeah. You're trying to win it for your country. It's very, very intense. Players come back with little niggles. Players come back a bit exhausted. It has to be taken into account in the type of players we buy.
So you got to be ready. I think Trossard's going, another one that will be going, like, you know. So you know, there ain't going to be that many players.
Yeah. And then when you go out into the market now, you're looking to buy a top quality player. He's probably been out there as well.
Yeah.
Or in. so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be when you talk about squad. It's going to be interesting what they're doing and how they take that into consideration. You know. Because, you know, all of our players last year, they had a full pre-season, they were primed and ready to go. It's going to be a little bit different this time round. I think, you know, you could see some big teams getting off to a little bit of a slow start. You know, I think in the transfer market and the way the squads are juggled, we're going to have to be very smart. You know, Fabio Vieira probably is he going with Portugal? I'm not sure.
No, he didn't. He didn't make it.
Like, no, so he's one that would be back at home. Maybe he might start. You know, I mean, if he's, you know, so it's going to be really, really interesting. Another player who's not going, doesn't actually play for Arsenal, but I want to ask you about, because this rumour's been flying around for the last few days. Marcus Rashford, of course, won the FA Cup on Saturday with Manchester United. Had a horrendous season. I think he only scored 8 goals in all competitions, following on from a brilliant season that he'd had the year before. He has been known to blow hot and cold. As I said, you know, it was a surprising omission, even after he had such a poor season. Surprising omission that he didn't even make the England squad. He's been a mainstay of that squad for the last few campaigns. Heavily linked this week with a move to Arsenal. Would you take Marcus Rashford at Arsenal?
You look back on this podcast, we done one very, very early. I think we was playing Man United, and I said there's only one player that would get in the Arsenal team or you'd take from Man United, and that was Marcus Rashford. That was the only one that would get, I think, could get into the Arsenal team. For me, I think if the price is right, I will go for it, and I'll tell you why. Because we need someone on that left-hand side to cover. Martinelli can play on the right-hand side if he needs to, or down the centre. So like,
so can Rashford actually play down the
centre? So Rashford can play down the centre. I do feel that we need someone that can play in all of those positions, not just a main striker. So, because I think like Kai Havertz done really, really well last season. So you would go in there. Rashford can play down the centre. Also, I think it's a very, very good, would be a good signing now because he hasn't got the Euros. So he comes in with a full pre-season under his belt. if he is to change clubs. I think he needs a change. I think
yeah, he looks like that.
I think he's fed up. He needs a new challenge. He's had numerous managers, and I think he may need a fresh challenge. I don't think he's damaged by any stretch of the imagination. And it could be like a real good sign for us. I think if it'd be better for him to stay in the Premier League than go somewhere like PSG or somewhere like that.
When you say that if the price is right, what's that right price then?
I wouldn't be paying like silly money for him, like
how much?
80 millions and all that. Like I think I wouldn't be paying any more than that. Don't forget, he got the wages that I wouldn't be paying the wages. If he was to come, you're going to have to say to him that you're going to have to drop wages. But 80 million, is that too much nowadays? I don't think so. When you paid 65 for, I know it's 60 million in the song, but it's 65 for Kai Havertz, and now you're looking at that and going, do you know what? That's good money, well spent. The Champions League money we've got, we can afford a big signing. I don't think there's anybody out there at the moment that we couldn't compete with a transfer now. I know like someone like Mbappe might go to Real Madrid, like the cost of all that. I also think that you've got to think, if you was to bring in someone like Rashford, I don't know how much he's. I think it's crazy money, 400, 350, 400. You're going to upset Arsenal players that are already there. I want what he's having and all that. So you've got to be very, very careful what you're doing on that side of it. Look, listen up, because if he was going back to when we signed Sol Campbell, he was getting a lot more money than everybody else. But you could say, well, he's getting more money because he was getting a transfer fee and all that. Arsenal are going to have to pay big transfer fee and then big wages. So if they can strike a deal of a good deal, why not?
Well, I thought you'd be against it.
No, I'm not. I'm not like. We need someone. I don't know. If Mikel says, in my opinion, Edu, go Rashford's the one, I'm going to back that.
Because, listen, I'll back it. I mean, going off of. All right.
What about yourself then? What are you going to go?
So I was a bit mixed when I've been hearing the rumours. As soon as people first were saying to me, I was like, nah, it's good, because I saw him last season, right?
Always scores at the Emirates.
Always scores at the Emirates. Listen, on his day, blistering. Not last season, the previous season, that guy's on fire, man. Like, he's scoring every week. He scores. He was excellent. Last season was horrendous. Lazy. Not tracking back, sulking.
There were some terrible signs. I agree with that.
Yeah, and you looked at that and you was like, but then I started to think about it deeply and say there's something's not right with that guy, because you can't go from what he did the previous season to this season and there's not something up. There's some things up behind the scenes, or something's up in the club or with him. And like you said, he is definitely a player who needs a new challenge. Definitely a player. He's got quality. I saw today that he's made a lot of bad, and again, a lot of things I looked at and I'm like, do we really want that at Arsenal? Remember when he went to Dublin?
Yeah.
When he should have been playing, and so I was just like, do we need that? Do we need that? That's what, he was like Aubameyang again. Like, we had them sort of similar issues with Aubameyang. We got rid of him. Why would we want to bring someone in like that? But is the fact that he's been left out of that England squad a real wake-up call for him? I noticed that he said that he's coming off of social media for a few weeks, which that indicates to me that guy's saying to himself, I need a reset. I've heard in the past that he would be interested in coming out to Arsenal.
Yeah, there has been rumours.
I've heard that strongly. He's got the talent. And then the one thing I look at and I say to myself, Mikel Arteta would be the factor for me. He would be capable of turning Marcus Rashford back into the Marcus Rashford we saw the previous season. When Kai Havertz came in, and I put myself in that bracket as well, I was like, what, really? Kai Havertz? Has Mikel not been watching what he was doing at Chelsea? Why are we getting him for? But then I remember with Kai Havertz, the first sort of thing I thought to myself, because I was doing Transfer Daily and that, first sort of thing I thought to myself is, well, It's not just Arsenal after him. Real Madrid are interested in him as well.
Bayern Munich as well, weren't they?
Bayern Munich interested. These are not little small clubs or mid clubs. These are big clubs that are interested in him. So there must be a player in there that they've identified that they can turn that guy around. We see what he's done with Kai Havertz. He's brought him in, he's turned him around. Now Kai Havertz is back to the player that we all knew that was at Leverkusen, that was super talented. As a matter of fact, we've seen things from Kai Havertz we didn't know were in his game. I didn't know he could hold up the ball like that. I didn't know his work rate was like that. I didn't know his physicality was like that. Those are all things that have been brought out from him by Mikel Arteta. So I'm looking at thinking to myself, right, then what could Arteta do with Rashford? You know what I mean? Because definitely the player is there. The challenge would be coming into a team that's back in the Champions League, and we need a good squad, like you said, and he would be able to challenge for places in that team. He'd be able to get back his place in that England squad, because remember, we've got the World Cup coming up in the States, and every player's going to want to play in that World Cup in America, Canada, Mexico, which is the next one. So he'd have a target. He'd be coming into a team where, you know, there'd be some familiar faces in there. That I'm sure his Saka's there, Declan Rice, players like that. The mentality of that team is like they're all on that, you know, got that mentality that, listen, we want to try and win the league. That's the mentality of all these players now. So when I started to weigh up all those things, I was like, actually, it wouldn't be a bad signing. And like you said, the fact that he's able to play right across that front, you know, you can play him as a left, you could play him on the right, and he could play as a striker. Is Arteta thinking to himself, I could convert him into a full-on striker, maybe?
He's capable of getting 20 goals.
And he's not going to be that crazy money that he was being spoken about before. Remember they were talking about him at PSG. PSG were interested, and United was saying, well, 150 million, and they would get nowhere near. I'd be surprised to get 80.
No chance.
I'm looking more like, I'm thinking more is like 60. If he's like 60 million,
well, I'll do it.
You know, and there's been rumours been going around that there's been secret talks held between him and, you know, listen, nobody knows if that's true. Nobody knows if United are going to turn around and hold on to him. Nobody even knows the position of what's happening at United. You know, I think if Ten Hag stays, I don't know, to me there seems to be something ain't right there between him and Ten Hag.
No, you know.
So if Ten Hag stays, I could see him leaving.
Yeah.
If Ten Hag goes and they bring in a new manager, he might say, well, new manager, new challenge. But certainly you can see, listen, we've all seen how good this guy can be. But we ain't seen that for a long time.
No,
so
listen,
you know,
I'm with you. You know, everything you said there is right about him, and I get what people. They showed the clips of him just jogging back when, you know,
horrendous.
Yeah, horrendous.
Horrendous. Something that Arteta would definitely not tolerate.
No, but like, listen, a lot of Chelsea fans was saying, oh, he's got no work rate, Havertz, and all that. Like, the first thing that I noticed about Kai Havertz more than anything is he worked his socks off every game.
Season, every single game, all over the pitch.
All over the pitch. I remember at Newcastle when we lost up there, you know what I mean, running and running and running. So you could never put that at his door, even though Chelsea fans did. Obviously, Man United fans, and look, we've watched Man United, and I watched him and I thought, nah, not for me. You know what I mean? Like, that's a disgrace. Why is he doing that? Why is he going off to Dublin when he knows he shouldn't do and all that? Like, there's obviously something not right there. Like, you know, now I'm not saying that he's trying to force a move or whatever, like, because that's not right. But you can see that there's something not right with what's going on. Maybe, you know, he's fallen out with people above, whatever the promise is. I don't know. Like, you know, and he's saying, right, this is what I'm going to do. Very, very funny though that big cup final. Like, he got played, and I thought he worked hard in that game. What I see of it, like, you know, so
that's the other thing about him. Like, on the counter attack,
he's
very dangerous,
very good. Like, you know, twice up here, you know, he's it's on the break with good finishes. He can score goals. You know, he was playing down the middle when he first come into the team. Like, you know, then there's this rumour that he don't want to play on that position. I just think that somewhere along the line, sometimes you need a fresh start. Maybe Manchester's too small for him. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, come down to London, you can get away from it a little bit, like you can lose yourself a little bit, like, you know, everything like
I don't know if that's be a good thing though.
Well, I don't know. I think if you ever go to Manchester, Manchester's very similar to London on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
So you can't, you know, there's only
that's
a
what
few.
I'm saying. We come to London, there's more clubs, more bars.
Yeah, well, maybe like
more women, more
maybe keep away from all that, like, you know.
More airports to go to Dublin.
And the thing is when you go to under Mikel, you know, if you come into Arsenal now, and this is where the great thing with the Aubameyang thing come, like, you know what I mean? If you don't toe the line, you're not going to survive at Arsenal. No. Don't matter what, you know what I mean? So they would have done all of these sort of stuff and all that, like, and they'd be talking to, and if they are, look, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen. If you're not prepared to do that, Marcus, then you ain't going to come here. And at the end of it, I think his next move is massive for him now, because he's at the crossroads of his career now.
Yeah, he's 27, 28?
I don't know how old he is, 26, 27, but you're not in the England squad no more, right? If you don't go down this path, you're never going to get it back. You know, there's so many players that have fallen off a cliff when they haven't done it. So it's a massive, massive thing. It's a massive gamble. Arsenal may decide to go down some other route, but it's definitely an option if we can get him.
I'm just looking to. I just wanted to check his age actually.
I'm saying 26. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 26, 27 in October. So still in that age bracket of. But like you said, it's like your next move is huge.
Yeah.
Your next big decision is huge. 26.
Maybe it's just falling out of love with Man United for whatever
you know,
reason.
Listen, you can fall out of love. You could have worked somewhere for ages, and it's like it just starts to become a chore and stuff. Maybe it's a bit of that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him this summer. And of course, don't forget Transfer Daily coming back next week. Got to give it a plug.
Give it a plug.
Next week, Monday, right? And we're back in the hot seat. Transfer window don't actually open until when the Euros start. Huh?
When is it? I
think it's the 14th of June or something like that. Just when the Euros start, that's when the transfer window opens. But we're going to be starting it because there's already loads of rumours flying around regarding certain players, Xavi Simons. Actually, I want to ask you this one. Would you take Bruno Guimaraes at Arsenal? He's another one that's been heavily linked.
Listen, he's a player that, can I be really honest, I don't like, but that's a good thing. Because
you don't like him?
No, because he's what he does.
Yeah. Remember when he moved to Arsenal, he did that. He said that. What was it? Didn't he do or he's in a video on that, like where he's making out that he could have went to London, but he decided.
Yeah. Like, but I think when he's one of those players that plays for you, you're going to kind of like what he does.
I'd have him.
So
he's quality.
I think
he's been linked with Arsenal. I mean, said to have £100 million release clause, which that's a mad release clause for him. But he is an absolute top quality player. And of course, Newcastle, we was talking about it earlier with the FFP rules, no Europe for them now. That's the other thing. No Europe for top players. Like, you know, the rumours are is that they've told Isak he ain't going nowhere. We're not sitting. I've been saying this for a while, right? That I just can't see them selling Isak, right? So the rumours is they've said to him, you ain't leaving. We're definitely not selling you. But they're going to have to sell someone. And it has to be someone that's like a...
Well, they ain't got a choice,
got a big amount of money tagged to them.
If they've got this clause where if you come in with 100 million, he can go. So Newcastle can't even say he's not for sale if they've got this clause. So a bit like with Partey, you know what I mean? If someone makes that
just
clause,
hit the release
that's
clause.
it.
It's a high release clause, 100 million. But what I was thinking about the other day, and I said a midfield because you could have Rice playing the deeper role, Bruno Guimaraes, and Odegaard.
And I'd still keep Thomas Partey as well.
Man.
I would still keep Thomas Partey as
you
a backup.
keep Thomas Partey?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of rumours saying that he's going to leave.
Well, I'd keep him.
To me, well, listen, we're keeping Jorginho, right? So
but say like if you've got him in there and you've got an FA Cup game or a league game and all that, you're bringing in Thomas Partey to all of a sudden you ain't ready.
They're not going to keep both because Thomas Partey's on big wages as well. One would have to go. If they brought in Guimaraes, I think that definitely Partey's going. The rumour is that Partey will leave. And it's because of the injuries, isn't it? That they're probably
and I get that, but like,
he's not getting any younger as well.
you know.
But if Bruno Guimaraes was the guy coming in to replace him, then I like Thomas Partey, but it's just the injuries and that. But yeah, I mean, I'd have Guimaraes, would you?
Yeah, I would take him, but not not losing Partey. I want both of them to stay.
Okay, but greedy. That's good.
But I think you've got to be.
We need quality, man. We need quality. And, you know, Bruno Guimaraes, I would have in it. You know, that midfield would be tasty.
We need someone like that.
Yeah.
Who's Premier League experienced, and if you aren't going to have Thomas Partey, he's always about, and he hardly misses a game.
Yeah.
So he's Brazilian, so there might be a little connection there with the Brazilian boys. I don't know, but if he's available and Arsenal, if that's the route they want to go down, yes, definitely.
All right, let's see what happens with that. I think we got a message. They said from Julian. We got a message from Julian somewhere.
I've just finished my rather romantic lunch at this exclusive Scottish restaurant and found out that you're filming the Invincible slightly early, which means I can't be back for it. Of course, that diminishes the quality of the show. So, what can I do instead? I'll just go to the beach.
Yeah, a bit cloudy though, Julian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit cloudy and windy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's trying to make us feel bad on a really horrible day. It looks like it's raining there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I didn't go much on that weather, you know what I mean?
Nah, the typical him, McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's. He could buy McDonald's and he's eating at McDonald's.
Treat that, couldn't he? You know what I mean? It's,
you know, you're on holiday, go to, a really nice restaurant, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't
you're
go
there with your missus, take her to a nice restaurant, you know what I mean? Buy the, buy the
McDonald's for lunch.
McDonald's.
I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with McDonald's when you're at the airport going home or something like that.
Yeah, you're not on holiday.
Not on
holiday by the...
No, I would never go. No, I'm not being a snob or nothing, but I would... Nah.
The guys from production are saying apparently he was on his Wi-Fi and wanted to save the data. Right, so that's why he stayed near the McDonald's as well when he was...
Use their data.
That is definitely him.
So he ain't even unbelievable, when he I mean, he's actually gone in there to use their data,
That is definitely Julian. If you guys will say we're bullying him, right, but you don't know him, that is what he would do. He would definitely do something like that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and ordered probably two fries, and that's it, you know what I mean? Unreal.
But like you said, you don't go to the beach and then you've got McDonald's, and you know what I mean? Well, maybe when you're 18, but at his age, man, order a nice nice little meal,
like lunch, a bit of wine or a bit of tapas or something like that.
You tight,
and then he's only gone in there to use their Wi-Fi, but he's done all his business in there. I've been in there about 4 hours.
And bought a Coke.
Coke and fries.
Or tap water or something. No, it is. Oh, my God. But listen, we've come to the end of the show today. I want to thank our sponsors again, Manscaped, for sponsoring the Invincibles. Don't forget, manscaped.com/invincible for 20% off your order, plus free shipping. Father's Day is coming. It's just around the corner. So you want a really good Father's Day present, something that's really different for your father as well. I'd get on that right away, and just by watching the show, you get 20% off. How good is that?
Great deal. Great deal.
Maybe we get 20% off Rashford as well.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You're off soon, isn't it? So when you off?
I'm off on Monday, so I'll go Monday. So, my last Invincible for a couple of weeks. I won't be sending no messages from what I might do. Shall I do one
do one. Let's see if we compare them.
I'll compare it
compare it. See how you get, how you do it.
Right. Okay. We shall send you a video in of how
it should be done.
How it should be done. That's what we do, what I mean? So we're doing that,
I mean, I'm not going to wait for a drive-through to produce what he just sent us.
No.
Anyway, thanks for watching the show. We'll be back next week. Julian's going to be back next week as well. Right, so look out for the Invincibles. We are here right throughout the summer, by the way, so make sure you check out. And also Monday, Toca Social, come down and meet me and all the guys. We're going to be down there as well, so make sure you check that out. Thanks for watching the show, and see you on the next one.